Good afternoon. Como talibou, como está? Ni hao, habarako, and salam alaikum. What's up, bro? This is Musa, Matt Meacham Jr. signing in on his Musa Corner Consultant International Network. Some people don't think that I'm qualified to be a consultant. But I don't think it always has something to do with qualifications. It has something to do with something else. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I'm still in USA. Now, I'm in USA in mind. In other words, that's what's on my mind. And so I want to talk about USA, United States of America. Okay, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the presidents of the United States of America, all the different presidents. And the thing is, it's interesting who becomes president of the United States of America. You know, I don't ever, in my childhood or youth or manhood, ever thought of running or becoming the president of the United States. But I guess some men, black, white, whatever, they think of those things. So therefore, they venture out into these particular professions, though they were destined to do it anyway. I want to talk about the presidents of the United States of America. Let me see it as much as I know. Let me talk about the presidents in my lifetime that I can recall doing certain things. Okay, there was President Eisenhower. I was just a baby then. But I know President Eisenhower was the president of the United States of America when Lumumba, the first Congolese president, Patrick Lumumba. I hope I'm saying the names correct, but I know it's Lumumba, and I think it was Patrick Lumumba. He was the first African to be the president of the Congo. And you know the Belgians, they really, those guys really did those Congolese people really bad. In other words, when the Belgians, when they were in control of the Congo, they made the children and the women work. And if the women and the children didn't work, this is in the Congo, before Lumumba became the first president, the first African president of the Congo. Now, those Congolese people in their own land, okay, first they were colonialized, enslaved by the French and the Belgians. So, Leopold, the ruler, I guess, of the Belgium and of the Congo, white man in Europe, probably a little short man. He probably was a little short man. I don't know anything about Leopold. I think he had a long beard. You know, like a lot of these white races have. They have these long beards that let you know I'm a white racist. But let's get back to Lumumba. When Lumumba was president of the Congo, let's go before he became president. The French and Belgium rulers, they told those black people in their own country that if you don't work for me, I'm going to cut your hands off. That's what Leopold did. Leopold, Belgium. He told those slaves in their own land, he said, look, if you guys don't go out there and work for me, I'm going to cut your hands off. I don't care if you're 6 years old or if you're 60 years old. And he cut the hands. Leopold, he cut the hands off of those black people. Children, women. But those guys were bad. I guess those Congolese were pretty afraid of those guys coming in. They say, if you don't work the plantations, we're going to cut your hands off. And they did it. But of course, they had the Uncle Toms that were Congolese cutting off the hands of their brothers because the white slave master said, cut their hands off, and they did. You check history. You check history and see what happened to the Congolese people when Leopold ruled. Now, okay, here comes Lumumba, young man. And it's probably because of his naivety that caused this terrible thing to happen to him. But he was a very intelligent young man. I think he was in his 30s, and he became the leader of the Congo after Leopold was dethroned. So when the Congolese people had the big conference and they were taking over the country of the Congo after they got their liberation, Lumumba gave this speech, and he said, he talked about the reality of Belgian slavery and what they did to the people. These guys cut off the hands of children, women, and old people if they didn't work the plantations. Yes, they cut their hands off. Boom, boom. You don't have hands if you don't work for me. That's what happened. So, Lumumba, he's the president, and it's time to, the ceremony. And he reminded those Belgians, he reminded those Frenchmen, he said, look what you did to my people. Look what you did to my people. And that made those white folks angry. White folks. So they had a contract on Mr. Lumumba. He was due to die. But watch this. Okay. When Lumumba became the president of the Congo, he decided to make a trip to the United States of America, the land of the free. He made a trip. The president of a country in Africa, the first president, he made a trip to United States of America. You know why he went to the United States of America? He went to the United States of America to talk to President Eisenhower about helping him and his country. President Eisenhower, white man, white general, he had seen what the Nazis had done in Nazi Germany in World War II. He had seen the evilness of men. President Eisenhower he refused to see President Lumumba of the Congo. A president. He refused to see the Honorable President Lumumba. But you do your own research and you'll see what happened to Mr. Lumumba at the end. But I'm talking about Mr. Lumumba only to talk about Mr. Eisenhower, President of the United States of America. He refused Lumumba flew to the United States of America to talk to the President of the United States of America. He refused to see Lumumba. He would not talk to him. Yes. That's how white people treated black people. Wait, I'll show you a few other things that happened. That was President Eisenhower. Let's jump up to President Reagan. There was a man, I forget the leader of Liberia, who became, what he did, okay, now if you know anything about Liberia, Liberia was founded by African Americans, freed African Americans, who the white people helped them to develop the country of Liberia. African Americans. But then there came a guy, I don't know his name, but you do your research if you find out who I'm talking about. There came a guy later on in history. He was not of the African American heritage. See, what happened is those African Americans who went and formed Liberia, who really created the country, who ruled the country of Liberia, it was something like this. It was like what they did after World War II, and they sent those people to Palestine. And those people call themselves Jews. And they kicked it, and they're still kicking the Palestinians behind, kicking their asses right now. But it was something similar to that. These African Americans went to Liberia and started mistreating the native people of Liberia and treated these native people of Liberia as though they were slaves. We'll talk about this a few other things later on, but I'm trying to move to a point, and I got to talk. I don't have that much time to get to the point that I'm trying to get to. Okay. Now, the president of Liberia, he killed those African Americans who were ruling Liberia. He had a coup. And he killed those African American leaders who were leaders. He had them to undress naked. This was an African, a native Liberian. He got those African American leaders who had come to Liberia over a period of generations. So those African Americans who were ruling Liberia, he rounded them up, made them strip naked, made them parade. He paraded them downtown Monrovia in Liberia. He tied them against trees, and he had his army to execute them. Killed all them niggas from America. And they killed. You have to do your own research, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So they killed all of these African Americans. Now the leader, I forget the guy's name, but you do your research. But the leader of Liberia, he came to the United States of America, President Reagan, and President Reagan welcomed him, treated him with royalty. Now this guy is the guy who killed the children, these guys who were African American, that class. He wiped out those African American leaders. I mean, boom, 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 bang, boom, boom, you dead. He killed them. He humiliated them before. He He shamed those African Americans. They walked down the street half naked, and they tied them to the trees, and they, boom, 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 they executed them. And that President Reagan, he welcomed that guy to America, treating him like he was a king, President Reagan. But see, what happened was, this same native Liberian, they did him, when it was in the final analysis, karma came back on him because eventually he was caught and they stripped him naked, cut off his ears, cut off his genitals, and mutilated his body. That same Liberian guy who killed all of those African Americans. Where am I going? Where am I going? I'm getting close. Now we'll get to President Nixon. President Nixon, he sold out America. After he did all his dirty work and they let him go, he went to China. China is now one of the most powerful countries in the world. What did Nixon tell those guys? That's what that white man did. He told them the secrets of America. And now China, if U.S. went to war with China today, China would kick the U.S.'s ass. Okay. Now where am I going? Oh, President Kennedy. Now when did President Kennedy come? Did he come before Reagan? Okay, now he was quite liberal, but he didn't want Sammy Davis Jr., a black entertainer. He did not want him to come to his house. And Jacqueline Kennedy, his wife, John F. Kennedy's wife, she did not like Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was one of the black Americans. She did not like Martin Luther King. But let's talk about JFK. There was a lady named Marilyn Monroe. So he was having a sexual relationship with Marilyn Monroe. He and his brother, they were running trains on an actress by the name of Marilyn Monroe. The president of the United States of America. He and his brother, Robert Kennedy, they were running a train. Both of them were having sex with Marilyn Monroe, the famous white movie star. But it's interesting, Carmen. Somebody blew John F. Kennedy's head off. And they killed his brother. Okay. Presidents of the United States of America. Then came Clinton. And he was caught. He and his secretary were doing blowjobs on the president of the. How did that get out? How did people find out that this lady was under the desk giving the president of the United States blowjobs? That was President Clinton. Then came Barack Obama, President of the United States of America. Oh, men, go make love. Men, go have sex. You can marry each other. Barack Obama. And now, there's Mr. Donald Trump, convicted criminal. Convicted criminal. He is now the President of the United States of America. America has a destiny, and every day it moves toward that destiny. Of course, we know, if you follow me on the theory of predestination, I think you will be able to understand what I am trying to say. But right now, I am saying, this is Musa, Matt Beecham Jr., signing out on his Musa Corner Consulting International Network.